Over the years, I've had a lot of fun with whimsical designs, award-winning, best-selling international product designs, permaculture community and landscape design, hedonicity, of course, and a few tiny buildings. But to my surprise, very few of the many authors that I've read on the topic of design have mentioned what I'll be talking about in today's episode. Indeed, some of them have contradicted what I'll say today. And that is that design is the opposite of compromise. Now, I know that's a bold statement. So in today's episode, I'll get into what design delivers that compromise can't, how compromise compromises design itself, and the amazing things that uncompromising design can deliver in cities, maybe even without looking weird. Welcome to Hedonicity, best practices for sustainably abundant cities. Now, don't get me wrong about compromise. It's an essential part of life, and it makes for a smooth and peaceful life. There are two kinds of compromise that you see every day. First is the zero-sum negotiations. That is, you give some of what you have to get some of what you want, that you find in economics, politics, and personal relationships. The second kind, which we really encounter in the realm of design, is choices among alternatives. But the key point about compromise, great though it is for having a cohesive society, is that it's about existing choices. Design is about creating new choices. For example, your consumer choices in the 1970s when you were shopping for a car were energy efficiency, safety, or performance. Choose one. But by 2012, when the Tesla Model S rolled around, it earned top ratings in all three categories. Choose all three. Compromise is all about dichotomies. A dichotomy is just two mutually exclusive options. And I suppose in that automotive example, we were looking at a trichotomy. But we encounter dichotomies all the time. The one that comes up again and again in modern life is freedom versus safety. When I first moved to Athens, Ohio, the corner of Richland Avenue coming out of Ohio University and Route 682 had probably at some point in the past been a simple intersection with a stop sign, but as the population grew, they had to put a traffic signal in to keep it safe. By the time I got there in 2010, it was a nightmare intersection. You maybe had some safety, but you had very little freedom. Even mid-afternoon, well away from rush hour, on a not too busy day, it took several light signals to get through that intersection. And so you were looking at 6 or 8 minutes, and sometimes as much as 15 minutes to get through that intersection. It was miserable. Well, they took it out of service and built a turbo roundabout. I've included some links to information about roundabouts in the description. The thing you may not know about turbo roundabouts is that they are both 90% safer and 89% faster than traffic signals. I know this seems unbelievable, but in my lived experience, it really was faster. I timed that intersection several times during rush hour on busy weekends, homecomings and the like, and the longest it ever took me to get through that intersection was 1 minute and 45 seconds, which was less than the signal cycle of the old signed intersection. By creating new patterns in time and space, design can reconcile false dichotomies. Design gives you more of both of the things that you wanted that seemed to be in opposition before you came up with a better design. This is how design is the opposite of compromise. Let's take this one step further. I'll go so far as to say that design succeeds when we refuse to compromise with the basic concepts in the design. Cars demand up to 80% of modern cities via streets, parking, road verges, setbacks, and sales and service areas. Mass transit is up to 30 times more space efficient. This is why Hedonicity designs do not compromise with car infrastructure. Hedonicity is car-free. For this reason, cities with mass transit rather than cars will be greener, quieter, more compact, and hence much more convenient, as well as 17 to 20 times safer than car-dependent cities today. And by the way, if you're thinking, well, what about deliveries? What about service vehicles, maintenance vehicles, emergency vehicles? I cover all of that in the Ecology of Transit episode linked at the end of this episode. One of the beautiful things about understanding the uncompromising nature of design is that you can reconcile many false dichotomies at the same time. Urban or rural, people or trees, speed or safety, nutrition or flavor, crowding or sprawl, simplicity or amenity, quality or affordability, wealth or biodiversity, convenience or health, convenience or sustainability, manufacturing or clean air and water. Let me go through that in a little bit more detail. Dichotomies such as urban versus rural. We think of city life as all made of concrete and rural life as being green. But with hedonicity, we would have a lot more space and use that space for urban agriculture and make it very much greener than it is today. That's also how we can have both more people and more trees. And the compact footprint allows us to have both short transit times and safety, because at much slower speeds you can get to your destinations much quicker. By having food harvested and served the same day right where you live, we have more nutrition and more flavor, and so on down the line. Simplicity and amenity, quality and affordability, wealth and biodiversity, convenience and health, convenience and sustainability, manufacturing and clean air and water. These are all the goals of hedonicity, and with ecologically sound, integrated design, cities can achieve all of this. Hedonicity is a design strategy to resolve all of these false dichotomies. In a world where the urban population is growing by 200,000 people a day from now through 2050, according to the United Nations. Hedonicity blends permaculture, which is an ecological design system with about 1 million certified designers throughout the world, with urbanism, so that cities can heal the land and become places where people want to live. The very schematic reference design is available for download from the link in the description. Here's that Ecology of Transit episode that I mentioned last time, and the episode before this in the design series, as well as a 3-minute summary of permaculture. And you can learn about the Hedonicity membership from the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Take care. Stay green. See you next time.